Hello and welcome once again to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. The title today is Crazy Kiya or Crazy Times in a New India, and I'll explain why. Remember the great Charles Dickens, the author, and his book Tale of Two Cities, where he wrote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was also the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair." Well, that's what Charles Dickens wrote about Britain in the mid 19th century. But I am afraid, my friends, 21st century India is also seemingly trapped in its own Dickensian moment. If 2020 was the year of gloom and doom, 2021 seems to be the year when hope seems to be alternating with depression in almost a surreal fashion. Earlier optimism that the worst was over, that we were behind Corona, has now given way to genuine concerns that the second Corona wave could even be worse than the first. COVID 19 cases have climbed up to more than 1 lakh cases daily, and they are growing all the time. But the truth is that if you were covering state elections, as I have been for the last couple of weeks, you won't even know that there is a pandemic in this country. The masks are off as thousands of people are gathering for poll rallies. The sadhus and devotees are flocking to the Mahakumbh Mela in Hardwar. And of course, cricket's annual Mela, the Indian Premier League, has kicked off this week in Mumbai. Ordinary citizens are being told you have to follow COVID protocols or you will be punished. But the VVIPs and the sons and sadhus and the cricketers in their bio bubbles, and of course our politicians looking for votes, they are exempt, it appears, from COVID protocols. So the dreaded word lockdown, it seems, applies to the Aam Aadmi and not to the Khas Aadmi. Not more than 50 people can be invited to a wedding being held by an Aam Aadmi, but thousands can assemble for election rallies. As I said, crazy Kiya, crazy but true. The madness doesn't end there, my friends. Maharashtra is the worst affected COVID 19 state by far, accounting for nearly half the cases at the moment, and yet the state is racked by political instability. We hear of the big boss of Maharashtra, Sharad Pawar, who's now in hospital, and we wish him well, having just met Amit Shah a few days ago in a secret midnight meeting. All of this against the backdrop of a former Mumbai police commissioner accusing now a former state home minister of vasuli or extortion. Now, this is a moment for Maharashtra's politicians to come together to fight COVID, and yet it appears that the state is getting destabilized. Not the time for conspiracy theories, surely. You would think that the lessons of 2020 and the need to get the economy back on track would consume our political leadership. Well, not quite again. An important budget session of parliament was cut short because our netas had to hit the campaign trail. Then you've got the fact that most union ministers are not even in their offices at the moment. Why? Because they've been assigned districts in Bengal. That's right, my friends. At the moment, for the ruling BJP, conquering Bengal, getting into Fortress Kolkata is perhaps far more important than governance or policy decisions that should be taken in such critical times. Even a diplomatic outreach to Bangladesh has become an occasion, as I explained last week, for the Prime Minister to campaign for the Bengal elections in a surrogate manner by going to a Matua temple on voting day. In TV studios, government officials will come and tell us there's a V shaped recovery. Business leaders will continue to talk up the economy. On the ground, my friends, as one travels from Assam to Kerala, the fact though is there is visible economic distress. Jobs have been lost, incomes have shrunk, fuel prices have gone up. Especially the vast unorganized sector is hurting. As Rajiv Bajaj, one of the few outspoken industrialists, told me last week, we seem concerned with BSE and NSE, but who is concerned with MSME. As I said, in difficult times, every political party makes tall promises about pushing cash in the hands of beneficiaries. But on the campaign trail, when it comes to votes, politicians are back to business. The business of dividing us on religious grounds. Because the Hindu Muslim narrative is well and truly back in this 2021 election. In Assam, the bearded perfume merchant MP Badruddin Ajmal is made out to be the enemy figure for the BJP. While in Kerala, we see the rhetoric now of love jihad, of Shabri Malai, of Hindu traditions, Muslim appeasement, and Christian assertion and consolidation, all of which threatens a state which has experienced decades of relative harmony. Of course, in Bengal, religious polarization has been taken to such a fever pitch that now Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee is being compelled to reveal her Gotra and is reciting the Chandipat. The one state relatively free of this religious card this time is Tamil Nadu, but that's perhaps because Muslims are not a significant number out there to be seen as a critical vote bank. For the rest, it's all about vote bank politics, not about how are you going to get the economy back on track. If the BJP is determinedly then pursuing this opposition Mukt Bharat almost obsessively, the Congress too isn't helping its own cause. The Congress lacks a full-time party president and is desperately looking to Rahul Gandhi to deliver at least a state or two. Mr. Gandhi has campaigned vigorously. He's shown us his deep sea diving skills and his Aikido skills in this election, but we still don't even know whether Rahul Gandhi really wants to be a 24 by 7 party chief of the Congress. His sister Priyanka has also been used by the Congress in this campaign, but again her future role is uncertain. In these troubled times, the Congress seems to be a party in pause mode, hoping for resurrection more by luck than any strategic planning. In Bengal, Mamta Banerjee's persona is one of the core issues. She is seen as the self-proclaimed Bengal tigress taking out outsiders from Gujarat. She's even aggressively campaigned on a wheelchair after claiming to have fractured her foot in an attack. Now, most sports persons would take weeks to recover from a fractured foot. But elections, it appears, have miraculous healing abilities. So was the injury doctored to attract sympathy? Well, only Mamta Didi knows. But as I said, these are crazy times. Kuch bhi ho sakta hai. And in the midst of this spiraling poll madness around us, the Election Commission is also under the scanner. Supposedly a neutral umpire, but increasingly looking, as I said last week, like a 12th man for the party in power. Ready to show a red card to the opposition, but hesitant to blow the whistle when the BJP plays foul. And even when it acts as it did against the BJP strongman of Assam, Hemanta Biswa Sarma, the penalty is quickly withdrawn. Level playing field at election time? Well, not really. And by the way, amidst all this madness around us again, farmers in several parts of North India, especially Haryana and Punjab, are still agitating and demanding that the farm laws be revoked. Their agitation has gone on now for more than 4 months. Interestingly, we don't hear of a rise in COVID cases amongst the farmers, even as those in Mumbai's high rises seem to bear the brunt. I ask myself, is the Kisan more immune to the virus because he's hardened by days out in the field than the sharp-suited Indian? Maybe, maybe not. But as the title of this blog suggests, these are indeed crazy times. In the India of 2021, kuch bhi ho sakta hai. Anything can happen. And the politics of the bizarre is my postscript because it is heavily laced with hypocrisy. For example, BJP leaders at the center advocate a nationwide beef ban. In Kerala, though, the local BJP leadership says people are free to eat what they wish. Maybe the Hyderabad MP Asaduddin Owaisi was right after all. The cow is mummy in Uttar Pradesh, is yummy in Kerala. This, my friends, is a new India. Thanks for watching and do subscribe to my YouTube channel for more such videos. Namaskar.